So what is up, everybody? We are finally back to making videos. I'll give you guys a brief little rundown. If you didn't know already, I have been recovering from a bone graft knee surgery that I had, so it's been a pretty intense rehab and just been focusing on those things. So that's why I haven't been making my predictions or my recaps, but I finally wanted to get back and to make this recap for you guys. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into tonight's racing events over at Ford Field in Detroit, the Motor City, and it was a wild night. So for the 250 class, it was pretty basic. It was Jett Lawrence getting out front and just kind of pulling away with it. Although Pierce Brown did keep him a little bit honest there, but once he kind of lost a little bit of the pace, Jett just kind of pulled it out, kept it at about that 5-6 second range, wasn't pushing it. Jett just looked extremely smooth, and I feel like if Jett keeps doing this, he's gonna win the championship. I think the only time we have to really worry about Jett is if he gets like that 10th place start or something, like him going down in Arlington, whatever the case may be, him getting a bad start and needing to actually push. I think that's where we'll see the growth in Jett Lawrence, if that growth is there that he said that he had on the podium, because right now I think overall, just naturally, he's faster than everybody else. So he can kind of ride at that comfortable pace, but hey, if he keeps getting these starts, then he doesn't really have to worry about it. So yeah, a pretty simple night over there in the 250 class. We had Jett Lawrence coming in first, Cameron McAdoo in second, and Pierce Brown in third, and that'll be your podium for the night in the 250 race. Not a lot to talk about, but don't worry. Whatever the 250 class didn't have to talk about, the 450 definitely made up for it. So without even knowing where to really begin in all of this, we're just gonna go ahead and start with the start of the race. Eli came out like 8th, Anderson was up there, Webb was up there, Sexton was up there. A couple other guys were up there. Stewart was behind Tomac at this point, and yeah, it just looked like maybe Anderson might be able to run away with it, but Tomac made up so much time. But I do think Tomac got a little bit of help with Bogle leading those first like 3 laps. He was kind of holding everybody up. About time Barsha and Anderson got around Bogle, Tomac was already up to like 4th or 5th place, right behind those guys. Tomac then works his way up to 2nd place, stalks Anderson for a little bit, and then decides to make the move with about 12 minutes to go in the main event, and he honestly started to pull away a little bit. It looked like maybe Anderson was going to stay with him. I think Eli might have ran into a lapper or something of that nature and kind of slowed himself down, but once he got a clear track again, he was really able to kind of pull away from Anderson. So this is where the camera cuts away from Eli Tomac and Jason Anderson and their little battle going on, and they focus in on Cooper Webb, Justin Barsha, and Chase Sexton having a little battle. So Chase runs it in pretty hard on Cooper Webb. They don't make any contact or anything, and the only logical explanation to what happened was exactly what I think Ricky Carmichael said, was that Cooper just might have had a brain lapse and forgot where he was on the track and thought that he was tripling in. I don't know why he thought that, because I believe on both rhythm sections they were doubling and then tripling, so I don't know why he thought to triple. I just don't know what happened, but he ends up coming up short on the triple. Chase doubles and then goes to triple, and then proceeds to land on Cooper Webb. He lands on top of him, lands right on his head. It throws Sexton over the bars. He goes down super hard. Sexton's jersey is just completely ripped, full on like road rash down his back. Cooper runs off the track holding his arm, and then as they're showing that, they cut to Jason Anderson, and Jason Anderson's on the ground, and he doesn't even look like he knows what year it is, who the president is, or that he was even in a Monster Energy Supercross race. He just looks completely dazed and confused. All of this happened within like 30 seconds of each other, and then they're trying to figure out what happened with Anderson. They're checking in on Webb and everything of that nature, and then all of a sudden Ferrandis is up there in like a top 3 or in 4th place, and all of a sudden Ferrandis is off. They didn't even show his crash or what happened to him. So then Ferrandis pulls off. So you have these guys that are top 5 guys, 4 of them all going out of the race within a 2-minute span. And that still didn't make the race easy for Eli. He had Malcolm Stewart, and Malcolm held him in that range of about 6 to 7 seconds apart. So it was really like Tomac could ride, you know, a comfortable race and kind of keep that gap, but he really had to keep it honest too, because Malcolm was flying tonight. So if I had to make an initial assessment on these guys' future for the Supercross class for this year, Anderson, I believe he'll be able to come back. He had nothing that looked like a broken bone or anything. He just looked completely dazed and confused, because I mean, as you guys saw, he went down in one corner and it looked like it might have knocked him out for a second, or at least knocked him silly, and he tried to get back up on his bike and he couldn't even make it through another straightaway, and he was just off the bike again. And he was rolling everything. It wasn't like he was trying to jump and was just crazy everywhere. He couldn't even keep his bike in a straight line. He was just super wobbly. So I do believe that Anderson can come back. It's just like Chase getting that concussion. I do feel like Anderson would be able to come back. Chase, they didn't show too much of him. They just showed that road rash and everything. So right now, I would have to say Chase could possibly be able to come back. But I don't know. That ground mark looked super rough. Anybody who's gone high speed on like a bicycle or something and fallen on the street, you just know how bad that feels. And that's just what Chase's back looked like. You really got to feel bad for the kid. Nothing he could do there. It's just unfortunate. Cooper, on the other hand, it might have just been severely jammed, but it looked like he might have broken that wrist. Props to Cooper as well. He went around the track like 4 laps just riding with one arm, just rolling everything, trying to salvage points. But once he pulled off and they showed that he was actually in the pits and is waiting for his mechanic to get on the bike. If you guys notice, when he went to go pull in the clutch, he could barely even grip the clutch to be able to pull it in. Like, he had to pull it in so slow. He almost kind of had to put his hand on it and kind of like pull his shoulder back and kind of lean back just to get the clutch lever to be able to move. So that doesn't look good for Cooper. It looks like he might have broken his wrist, fractured in the wrist, something of that nature. Because I mean, Chase landed on him pretty hard, landed right on his head and right on his wrist, and then he proceeded to get swallowed up by the bike and go face first into the next jump. So doesn't look good for Cooper at this point. And then with Ferrandis, they never even showed what ended up happening to Ferrandis, I don't believe. So we really don't know what the status of Ferrandis is. He didn't look like he was in a considerable amount of pain. I don't really know if it was like I thought it was a bike issue at first, and then it looked like when he rested his head on the back of his mechanic's backpack, it kind of looked like he might have been injured. But at first I thought it was a bike issue because it didn't really look like he had any dirt on him or any of the components of his bike were really messed up. So you have these 4 guys who are easily top 5 guys. Chase Sexton has proved in the top 5 this whole year. Cooper was in the top 5 the last 3 rounds. Anderson was second in points, and you just have these guys going out just within a matter of 2-3 minutes from each other. It just a testament to how tough this sport actually is. It's a testament to how rough that track was tonight. As Eli was saying, it was sticky in some spots, slippery in other spots. The bike was pulling you left and right, and it was very unpredictable. You didn't know what was gonna happen, and wow, just a wild night of racing. So for your top 3, you had Eli Tomac coming through with the win, now with a commanding, I believe, 42-point lead. Unless Eli just crashes out and doesn't finish the season, I believe that Eli is coming away with his 2nd championship. I don't see who's going to be able to stop him at this point. You had Malcolm Stewart coming in 2nd. It's good to see him taking another step forward, tying that career best for him with a 2nd place. I do think that if he just got a better start, he could win. If he can start in the mains like he does in the heats, he can win a race. But right now, we just have to wait for another week. I do believe Malcolm will get one before the end of the year, so we'll just wait to see what happens with Malcolm, but coming through solid 2nd place tonight. And I do believe he would have got 2nd whether Chase and Cooper crashed or not. Malcolm was just flying tonight. And then with the gritty performance of the night, it was Justin Barcia with those 7 stitches in his right hand, that gas hand. And man, he held onto that gas machine for the full 20 minutes plus 2 laps. And I mean, what an effort. I mean, there's a lot of people that hate on Barcia. I'm even one of those people. I'm a fan of his YouTube channel and everything. But as far as his actions on the track, sometimes I'm just like, it's a little too aggro for me. But you still got to give him props where props is due. Ultimate respect to him for riding with those 7 stitches in his hand tonight. So yeah, that is your top 3. And like I said, Eli Tomac with a 42-point lead now. I don't see anybody being able to surpass him or be able to pass him. I mean, I just don't know. Eli would have to finish outside of the top 10 every round, and Anderson would have to win every race. I just don't see it happening. Eli's too consistent. He looks like he's having fun this year. It's good to see Eli smiling and being happy. So yeah, I do believe that Eli's going to come away with this. I'm not saying that as like a jinxing way. It's just really hard to make up 42 points in 7 races. So yeah, guys, I hope you all are excited for the recaps coming back. Next week, we'll also do the prediction and the recap. So I hope you guys are ready for that. Coming out with more MX versus ATV Live videos this week. Just coming out with just getting back to the normal schedule of things. So for whoever watches this video, I really appreciate it if you stuck around knowing about the surgery and just excited to see videos back. So I appreciate all the support, guys. If you liked the video, go ahead and smash the like button. If you were ready for more content, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.